Stop. Before you open that DJI Fly app and tap that update button, watch this video first, because today, DJI just dropped something that every single drone pilot needs to know about. We're talking about a brand new Fly app update, version 1.2.1.0, a firmware update for your controller, and, oh yes, two completely new drones that nobody was expecting. And here's the thing, I've already done the update, I've already flown with it, and I'm going to walk you through everything, the good, the potential issues, and what settings you absolutely must check before you fly again. So stay right here, because the most important part, it comes at the very end. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. What a day it is here in the UK. Genuinely warm, genuinely sunny, and for once, I am not standing in a field wrapped in 3 coats wondering why I still live here. I'm your host, and if you're new here, this is where we do honest, thorough, no-nonsense drone content. We test, so you don't have to make expensive mistakes. Today's video is all about the DJI Fly app update 1.2.1.0, which has just landed along with a controller firmware update for both the RC2 and the RC Pro 2. Although I'll talk more about the Pro 2 situation in a moment, because there is a slight complication there worth knowing about. We've also got 2 brand new DJI drones to talk about, and I'll be doing a full live flight test on the DJI Mini 5 Pro using this exact update, so you can see how it all performs in the real world. Let's get into it. What's in this update? So let's start with the basics. What is actually in this update, and why does it matter? DJI Fly App version 1.2.1.0 has 3 main components to it. First, there is the Fly app itself, which receives the version 1.2.1.0 update. Second, there is a firmware update specifically for the RC2 controller. And third, and this is the one a lot of people are asking about, there is a firmware update listed for the RC Pro 2 as well. But here's the catch. At the time of filming this video, that RC Pro 2 firmware is not yet available to download. DJI has acknowledged it. It is coming, but it's simply not rolled out yet. So if you're an RC Pro 2 user and you're not seeing it, that is completely normal. You're not missing anything. Just be patient. Now, what does the update actually contain? According to the official DJI patch notes, there are 3 key changes. Number 1, added support for the 2 brand new DJI drones, the LITO X1 and the LTO X1, which we'll dig into in a moment. Number 2, the DJI Flight Simulator has been updated to optimize the user experience, which is a nice quality of life improvement, especially for beginners who are still learning how to fly. And number 3, the classic catch-all, fixed known issues. Now, I know some of you roll your eyes every time you see that phrase, and honestly, so do I. But here's the thing, fixed known issues can actually be really significant. In the previous update, I personally experienced a bug with the descent speed during landing. It was behaving slightly oddly, not dangerously, but noticeably. After this update, completely resolved, so those known issues genuinely can affect your flying experience. Live flight test, DJI Mini 5 Pro. Right, we're out in the field now, and this is where it all gets real. I've got the DJI Mini 5 Pro in the air, running on the freshly updated Fly app 1.2.1.0 with the new RC2 firmware installed. We've got brilliant light today. Wind is light and manageable, and I want to put this update through its paces across 4 specific tests. I'm going to be honest with you throughout. If something doesn't work the way it should, you'll hear it from me directly. That's the whole point of this channel. Test 1. Basic flight feel and hover stability. First things first, how does it fly? I'm taking the Mini 5 Pro up to roughly 50 meters and just letting it sit in a stationary hover for a full 30 seconds with hands completely off the sticks. What I'm looking for is drift. Any sideways movement, any altitude creep, any signs of instability in the gyroscopic stabilization. And I'm happy to report, it is rock solid. Not a millimeter of drift that I can detect. The hover is smooth, confident, and the telemetry on the RC2 screen is reading clean data without any of the occasional glitchy altitude readouts that a small number of users reported with the previous firmware. So far, so good. Test 2. Spotlight mode. Next up, Spotlight mode. For those who don't know, Spotlight locks the camera onto a fixed point of interest on the ground, in this case, yours truly standing right here, while allowing the drone to fly freely in any direction. It's an incredibly useful mode for solo content creators. I'm going to fly a wide orbit around myself, then pull back in a straight line, then spiral upward, all while Spotlight keeps me locked in frame. The result? Absolutely flawless. The subject lock was immediate, the frame held tight, and even when I moved the drone quickly through a sharp directional change, there was no lag, no wobble, no frame bleed. Spotlight on this firmware is performing better than any previous version I've tested. Test 3. ActiveTrack now. ActiveTrack. And here is where I want to be completely transparent with you, because this is exactly the kind of thing that matters in a real review. When I first tried to engage ActiveTrack after coming out of Spotlight mode, it wasn't working. The drone simply wasn't recognizing me as a subject. I tried twice. Nothing. Now, before you panic, here's what was actually happening. I had forgotten to cancel Spotlight mode properly. There was a residual mode conflict. The moment I fully canceled Spotlight, recentered the camera, drew the tracking box around myself fresh, ActiveTrack engaged immediately and tracked me perfectly across a 30-meter walking run at normal pace. So, let me be very clear. ActiveTrack is not broken. The issue was entirely pilot error on my part, and I'm telling you about it because it's a useful thing to know. Always fully exit your previous flight mode before engaging a new one. Return to home. The final test, and for many of you this is the most important one, is return to home. I've taken the drone out to about 80 meters distance and 40 meters altitude. I'm going to manually trigger RTH and watch exactly what it does. My RTH is set to optimal height, which means the drone will calculate the most efficient and safe altitude to return at based on the route it flew. And it's perfect. The drone climbs to its calculated return altitude, plots the path back to the home point, descends smoothly, and touches down within approximately half a meter of where it took off. That's not good. That's excellent. Return to home reliability is non-negotiable for me, and this update absolutely delivers. DJI LITO 1 and LITO X1, the two new drones. Alright, let's talk about the two new drones that accompanied this update, because I suspect many of you clicked on this video partly for this reason. DJI have announced the DJI LITO 1 and LITO X1 are genuinely interesting releases, though perhaps not for the reasons you might expect. Let me be upfront with you. I won't be reviewing these drones in depth on this channel, and I'll explain why in a moment. But what I will do is give you a solid breakdown of what they are, who they're aimed at, and whether they should be on your radar. DJI LITO 1 appears to be positioned as DJI's answer to the entry-level consumer market. Think of it as a drone for people who are either just getting into aerial photography for the first time or who want something lightweight and easy to travel with that doesn't require the kind of pre-flight preparation that more advanced drones demand. From what DJI has shared, this drone is designed with simplicity at its core. Intelligent flight modes are accessible right out of the box. The camera system is more than capable of producing impressive footage for casual users, and the companion experience through the updated Fly App is noticeably more guided and user-friendly. If you're someone buying your first serious drone, or buying one as a gift for someone who's never flown before, the LITO one is going to be a very tempting proposition. DJI LITO 1 and LITO X1, on the other hand, sits in a slightly different category. Where the LITO 1 feels like a pure beginner's drone, the LTO X1 appears to target the intermediate user who wants a step up without committing to the full professional tier. It has a more capable sensor arrangement, extended flight time based on DJI's published figures, and what looks like improved obstacle avoidance compared to its entry-level sibling. For those of you who have been flying something like the Mini 3 or the original Mini 4 Pro and feel like you've outgrown it but don't want to jump straight into the Air 3S territory, the LTO X1 might sit right in that sweet spot. My personal take now, here's my honest opinion, and I know some of you will agree and some of you absolutely won't, and that's perfectly fine. Personally, neither of these drones is for me. Not because they're bad drones, they're not, but because the content I create on this channel focuses on more capable, versatile platforms. The Mini 5 Pro sits in my bag every single day, but I genuinely believe the LITO 1 in particular is going to be one of the best entry-level drones DJI has ever produced. It's approachable, it looks well built, and the software support from day one, given it's baked right into Fly App 1.2 1.0, is a real confidence booster. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Are you considering picking up either of these new drones? Let me know down below. I read every single comment. Step-by-step update guide. Right, let's get practical. I know a lot of you watch these videos specifically because you want to see exactly how to do the update. Step by step. No assumptions, no steps skipped. So here we go. Before we start, a quick word of advice. Make sure your drone battery is fully charged before beginning any firmware update. Do not start this process if your battery is below 50%, and ideally, you want to be on a Wi-Fi connection rather than mobile data for the app update itself. Now let's walk through it together. Update the Fly app first. The very first thing you need to do, and this order matters, is update the Fly app itself before you touch any firmware. Head to your App Store or Google Play Store, search for DJI Fly, and update to version 1.2.1.0. The reason you do the app first is simple. The newer firmware packages sometimes require the updated app to process them correctly. If you try to do it the other way around, you may encounter errors or incomplete installations. Once the app is updated and loaded, you'll see a scrolling notification bar at the very top of the home screen. It will say something along the lines of "Firmware update available." That's your green light to proceed. Navigate to the firmware section now. With your drone powered on and connected to your controller, open the Fly app and tap into the aircraft section. From here, go to About, and you will see the firmware version your drone is currently running. Just beneath that, if an update is available, you'll see the Update Available prompt highlighted in blue. Tap that. The app will then present you with a pop-up window that lists exactly what is included in the firmware. In this case, it will confirm the added support for the LITO X1 and LTO X1, the simulator optimization update, and the bug fixes. Read through it, confirm everything looks correct, then tap the Update button to begin the download and installation. Wait, don't touch anything. This part is critical, and I cannot stress it enough. Once that update starts downloading and installing, put the controller down. Don't tap the screen. Don't try to navigate anywhere. Don't let the screen time out. If you interrupt a firmware installation midway through, you can brick your controller, and that is a very expensive mistake. The entire process typically takes between 3 and 7 minutes depending on your internet speed and your specific hardware. You'll see a progress bar on screen. When it reaches 100% and the system restarts automatically, only then is it safe to continue. The controller may restart itself once or even twice during this process. That is completely normal behavior. So, don't panic. RC Pro 2 users, take note. If you're using the RC Pro 2 controller, here's your specific situation. The Fly app update to version 1.2.1.0 is available for you right now, and you should absolutely install it. However, the RC Pro 2 firmware update itself has not yet been released at the time I'm making this video. DJI typically rolls these out within a few days to a week of the initial announcement. So, keep an eye on your notifications. When it does appear, follow the exact same process I've just described. Until then, your RC Pro 2 will continue to function absolutely normally with the existing firmware. There's no performance impact from having the app updated, but the firmware pending. Post-update menu checks you. Here's something that a surprising number of experienced pilots skip, and it catches people out every single time. After any firmware or app update, you need to go through your settings manually and check that everything is still configured the way you had it. Updates occasionally reset certain preferences, and if you don't catch it before your next flight, you could end up flying in a configuration that's different from what you intended. I do this every single time without exception, and I'm going to show you exactly what to check. Advanced Safety Settings. The first place to check is your advanced safety settings. The most important thing here is your return to home behavior. Confirm that it is set to optimal if you're flying in open areas, or preset altitude if you typically fly around trees, buildings, or other obstacles. After this update specifically, I want you to double-check your maximum altitude and distance settings as well, because some users on the forums reported these reverting to defaults after previous updates. 5 minutes of checking here could save you a very uncomfortable situation in the air. Control settings and sensitivity. Next, jump into your control settings and verify that your stick response curves and sensitivity are as you left them. For those of you who fly in a custom configuration, perhaps you've adjusted your yaw speed, or you prefer a slightly softer expo curve on pitch. These are the kinds of settings that can quietly reset without any notification. I personally fly with a slightly reduced sensitivity across all axes for smoother cinematic footage, and I always triple-check this after any update. If it has changed, simply re-enter your values and save. Gain and expo tuning. For those of you who are more advanced pilots and have custom gain tuning profiles set up, this is your priority check. Go into your gain and expo tuning menu and verify your sport mode and Cine mode settings individually. I've found that Cine mode tuning in particular can occasionally soft reset after updates, because it's a mode-specific profile rather than a global setting. Check your attitude gain, brake gain, and expo values. Write them down somewhere if you haven't already. A note in your phone, a sticky note on your case, whatever works for you. Camera settings. Finally, and this is the one that catches out filmmakers and content creators more than anyone, check your camera settings, your resolution, your frame rate, your color profile, your ISO limits, your white balance lock, all of these live in the camera menu, and all of them are capable of reverting to defaults after an update. Imagine going out for a golden hour shoot, flying your whole session in 1080p 30 when you always shoot 4K 60, and only discovering it when you're back at the editing desk. I can tell you from bitter personal experience. Should you update? All right, we're back in the studio now, and it's time to give you the clearest, most honest answer I can to the question that every single person watching this video is asking. Should you update to DJI Fly App 1.2, 1.0, and the accompanying RC2 firmware? Here is my verdict, broken down into 3 different types of pilot. If you had problems with the previous update immediately. Do not wait. If you experienced any of the following after the last firmware, unusual descent speeds, altitude readout glitches, instability in hover, or any telemetry oddities, then this update is specifically designed to address those issues. My own experience with the descent speed bug has been fully resolved by this firmware, and based on community feedback I've been reading, multiple other users are reporting the same. The patch notes don't always tell you everything, but this feels like a genuinely substantive bug fix update, not just cosmetic changes. Go update right now if everything is working fine. Right now, this is where the old saying rings absolutely true. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. If your current firmware is stable, your drone is flying perfectly, and you have a shoot coming up in the next 48 hours that you cannot risk disrupting, then hold off. Let the community have a few more days with it. Let the forum threads develop. Watch for any reports of edge case issues that might affect your specific drone model or controller combination. Updates are always reversible in theory, but in practice, a botched update on the day of an important shoot is a nightmare nobody needs. So if you're running stable, there is absolutely no urgency if you own or are considering the new drones. If you've just bought the LITO X1 or the LTO X1, or you're planning to, then this update is mandatory. Without Fly App 1.2 1.0, neither drone will function with the app. This update is the foundational software that makes both new drones operational. So for new drone owners, this isn't a choice. It's a requirement. Install it, follow the settings checklist I walked you through earlier, run through a quick test hover in your garden before heading out on your first real flight, and you should be absolutely good to go. Call to action. And that, my friends, is everything you need to know about the DJI Fly App 1.2 1.0 update. We covered the full patch notes. We introduced the 2 brand new drones. We walked through the step-by-step update process. We checked every settings menu you need to verify, and we put it through a live 4-part flight test right here in this gorgeous and genuinely warm British sunshine. I really hope this video saved you time, gave you confidence, and answered every question you had before tapping that update button. Now, I have a favor to ask. If this video genuinely helped you today, please hit that thumbs up button right now. It takes you literally 1 second, and it makes an enormous difference to how many people YouTube shows this video to. Every like directly helps other pilots find this content when they need it most. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an update video like this one. I upload regularly, and I promise every video is made with you, the pilot, specifically in mind. Before you go, I genuinely want to hear from you in the comments section. Tell me, are you going to update today, or are you going to hold off for a few days? And if you're thinking about picking up either the LITO 1 or the LTO X1, let me know, because if enough of you are interested, I might just have to change my mind and get my hands on one for a dedicated review. The channel is guided by you, always has been, always will be. I've picked out 2 videos over there on screen that I think you're going to find really useful, especially if you're diving deeper into the DJI ecosystem or thinking about upgrading your kit. Give them a watch. I genuinely think you'll enjoy them. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. It means more than you know. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, fly safe, and keep the skies beautiful.